Welcome to her corner. Take a seat, let your guard come down. Every story here deserves a crown. Through the tears and through the grace, every woman finds her place.
Hey, my beautiful people. Welcome back to episode 3 of Her Corner. Go ahead, pull up a seat because you belong here. Episode 1, I welcome you to Her Corner. Episode 2, we talked about becoming before arriving. Today, we're going to have a conversation about why healing isn't linear. You know, we got to go through those trials and tribulations that life throws at us, right? Then we get to a good point in our life and it still feel like we just. So let's talk about it. So let me ask you something. Have you ever thought you was healed from something and then something happened that just brought all those feelings right back up for you? Yeah, me too. If that's you, today's conversation is for you. Healing isn't measured by whether or not you still feel the pain. It's measured by how differently you respond to it. So I think one of the biggest lies that we've been told in life is that healing has a finish line. Like one day you wake up and everything's supposed to be okay. Nothing hurts anymore. You never cry. You never think about it. You just healed. And that's what I thought healing would look like for me. I thought I'd eventually reach the point where the painful memories didn't affect me anymore. But if I can be honest, that's not what healing looked like for me. Healing wasn't forgetting, it was remembering without falling apart. Healing wasn't pretending that everything was okay. It was finally being able to admit that it wasn't. And it definitely was never crying again because guess what? Your girl is a crybaby. But healing was definitely crying, but not losing myself in the process. You can be healed and still have moments that hurt. I still have moments that catch me off guard. A memory, a conversation, a date on the calendar. But the thing about it is, the difference is that those moments don't control me anymore. And they just remind me how far God has brought me. One of the greatest privileges of my career as a LMSW is walking with some people throughout the most difficult times of their life. And what I've learned is that healing definitely does look different for everyone. Let's talk about those emotional triggers. People think when they're triggered by something, it means that they're going backwards. I don't see it that way. I see it like maybe it's something that still needs some compassion. So think about it. A trigger isn't proof that you haven't healed. Sometimes it's simply just an invitation to show you how far you've come. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about healing is that if something still hurts you, then you haven't healed. That is not true. Sometimes you'll hear a song, sometimes you'll drive past a place, you might smell a familiar scent, or somebody might even say something that just takes you back. But that doesn't mean that you have gone backwards. It simply means that you're human. A trigger is not meant to be your enemy. It's just reminding you that there is still something that deserves a little compassion. So give yourself grace. Whatever you do, when you're healing, it's important to give yourself grace. Because the goal is to never be triggered again. The goal is really to respond differently. That's all. It's not about being triggered, it's about how you respond. One thing that I truly had to heal from was the loss of my daughter during a miscarriage in 2022. After that experience, There were moments that I didn't expect to hurt, but then I'll see a baby that's the age of what she would have been. I see somebody announce a pregnancy, or even walking past the baby section in the store, you know, in those moments after my miscarriage, and just feeling my heart tightening and not really knowing in that moment what was going on. It was a trigger. But maybe your trigger is not pregnancy loss. Maybe it's a song that reminds you of someone, a place you used to go, or a particular date on the calendar. Whatever it may be, being triggered does not mean that you failed at healing. Healing is not about the absence of emotions, it's about knowing what to do with those emotions when they show up. And one thing, when you're healing, there's going to be some grief, right? And one thing that I learned about grief, grief wears many different faces. I've grieved the loss of a child, I've grieved the end of a marriage. And even though those are two completely different losses, they both require me to let go of something, let go of a future that I thought of having. And some of you are grieving a relationship, something that you dreamed of having, and others may be simply grieving the version of yourself that you used to be. And grief is not a sign that you're weak, it's a sign that something once mattered. And you can even be healing from trauma. And when we think about trauma, we often think about um, one big old event that happened, a disaster or something like that. Between pregnancy complications, loss, betrayal, and trying to keep showing up for my work and my children, there were seasons where I didn't even much realize how much I was carrying. I became so focused on surviving that I didn't even stop to even ask myself of how was I really doing. So sometimes trauma is in one moment. Sometimes it's years or months of carrying things that you were never meant to carry alone. And as women, we keep pushing through whatever life throws at us. But surviving gets you through the moment, but healing helps you to move beyond it. And you know, when you're healing, you don't know everything. You're just trying to get through day by day. I wish someone had told me this sooner. Setbacks do not erase progress. There was days that I felt strong, hopeful, and full of faith. And then there were other days that grief hit me out of nowhere. And I was wondering, was I back at the beginning, back in the moment? And truth is, I wasn't. I was just having a hard day. So have you ever felt like one hard day erased all your progress? But growth isn't measured by never struggling again. It's measured by how differently you respond when life gets hard. And let's talk about how comparison slows healing. This one is personal. Comparison quietly tells us you should be farther along. You should be over this by now. Oh, she healed faster. She's doing this. Well, how she did this. Well, how she got through it this gracefully. How she got over that fast. We ask ourselves how, why. Healing is not a competition. There's no prize at the finish line. Your healing deserves patience and not pressure. So people ask me all the time, what helped you? How you got through it? Why? Because I carry it so well. But honestly, it wasn't just one thing that helped me get through it. It's those little decisions that I told you about in episode 2. And those decisions I had to make over and over and over again. That's what helped me get through it. The decision to devote myself in prayer, get my prayer life together. And prayer didn't always change my situation, but it changed me while I was walking through whatever I was going through in whatever season I was in. One of those decisions I also had to make was the decision to go to therapy. Having a good therapist in your corner matters. And let me tell you, that lady that seen me cry, she done seen me ugly cry, y'all. I ain't lying to you. She done seen me ugly cry. But in all seriousness, therapy really gave me the space to be honest with myself and to see things from a whole bunch of different perspectives that I wouldn't have otherwise thought about when you just hearing all the noise from the world. Therapy gave me that space to be honest with myself. So going to therapy and asking for help, that is not a sign of weakness. If anything, it's strength because it takes a lot of strength to go ahead and make that decision so that you can heal properly without all the extra noise that the world has to offer. And also, another thing that really, really helped me to heal, y'all, my notes are full. When I say full, I mean full. It was things that was in my head that I didn't quite know how to say yet. So I wrote them down or put them in my notes. Helps to get it out of my head. And healing also required me to set boundaries. Stop saying yes to everything. Set some boundaries. Stop being okay with everything. And setting boundaries, it doesn't mean that I was building walls to keep people out. They were never meant to be walls. It's just a form of protection. And one of the biggest things, my corner, my corner. The ladies who was in my corner, when I tell you, gave the most positive advice. Always was there for me. Whether it was to pray, whether it was just coming through for me in any way, whether it was just to make me laugh. Those ladies in my corner, they made sure my heart stayed happy. They made sure that I didn't have a moment where I doubted anything. Those ladies in my corner made sure they came through for me every time I needed them. And even when I didn't need them or thought I didn't need them. So who's in your corner matters. And another thing that helped me to heal is grace. You have to give yourself grace. And no matter what has happened to me at any point in my life, you know the hardest person I had to forgive? Myself. Healing started when I stopped operating under all those titles and when I stopped trying to be who everybody else needed me to be. And I started becoming who God called me to be. When I found myself again, mm-hmm, when I found myself again, when you find yourself again, you become a dangerous woman. And it took for my therapist to ask me, who are you? And I cried. I cried. Y'all, I was crying so bad. Y'all, it took for my therapist to ask me, who are you? And in that moment, I had to give myself some grace, some real grace. Because I realized I was a person just operating behind titles, surviving, not realizing all the weight I was carrying, just out here surviving, getting through it. And again, like I told you in episode 2, you see, big God, when I stopped questioning him, when I stopped asking him why things were happening, and I started asking him what were those things meant to teach me, what was the lesson that he was trying to teach me, what I needed to take from it, that's when true healing began. Having those ladies in my corner to let me know I didn't have to do it alone. I could be honest. So the relationships that you build, the people in your corner, they matter. And I'm going to say that over and over again. They matter. So, can we have an honest moment? Hmm? I want you to answer these questions, not for me, but for yourself. What are you still carrying? What have you convinced yourself doesn't matter anymore, even though it still hurts? And what will healing look like for you? Not 5 years from now, because time is of the essence, but today. Maybe it looked like asking for help. Put that pride to the side. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Take it from me. Ain't nothing wrong with putting that pride to the side, baby. Ask for some help. It's okay. Maybe today, healing look like just simply resting. Maybe it may look like forgiving. Or maybe it may be just simply admitting to yourself that it hurts. And simply admitting to yourself that I'm not okay. And that's okay. It is okay not to be okay. So, before we end today, take a second, grab your journals, and I want you to write this question down for me. What part of my healing journey am I rushing because I feel like it should be over by now? What part of my healing journey am I rushing because I feel that it should be over by now? Now, write this. Healing grows where grace is planted. Healing grows where grace is planted. Got it? All right. So if today's episode reminded you of anything, I hope it reminded you of this. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're not healing wrong. Your healing is on your time, and that's enough. So that concludes today's conversation. If there was anything today that resonated with you, that helped you, please leave girls some comments down below. Let me know. Give me some feedback. How I'm doing. Am I helping you? Am I not? Let me know. Drop a comment down below. And also, um, if you feel like it can help someone else, share it with someone else that you love. Share it with somebody that's in your corner. Share it with someone who you care about. Okay? So make sure y'all comment and like, subscribe, share. I want to bring you guys more great podcast episodes. Okay? So thank you for spending time with me here in her corner. Until next time, keep healing, keep growing, keep trusting God, and remember, you belong here.